Hello and welcome to the Bison Basketball Show. This past weekend, the North Dakota State men's and women's basketball teams hit the road down I-29 to take part in the Summit League tournament, a place that has been very good to the Bison men after reaching 4 straight conference championship games. The Bison entering as the 2 seed after going 11-5 in conference play, taking on IUPUI in the first round. The Bison split a pair of games with IUPUI in the regular season. Back and forth game early, Kai Cabellas slowed by an injured ankle, but played through it, scoring inside off the glass. Paul Miller carried the load offensively for the Bison in the first half, including 3 long three-point field goals. He had 18 first-half points. NDSU's hot outside shooting continued. Tyson Ward, an open look off the ball rotation in the corner. The Bison 5 of 11 from outside the arc in the first 20 minutes. Senior Dexter Werner had 4 offensive rebounds in the game to go along with 8 points. His putback late in the first half tied things up at 26. But IUPUI controlled things inside. Evan Hall following up the miss and putting it back in. The Jaguars had 38 points in the paint and led by 4 at the half. Cabellas got things started on a positive note in the second half, knocking down a triple from the top of the key. Then with the shot clock winding down, Carlin Dupree stepping back, hitting again from outside the arc, but the Bison just 2 of 8 from long range in the second half. IUPUI answered with 9 straight points to stretch the lead to double digits. Aaron Brennan, his first career double-double, 18 points and 11 rebounds. Miller was the only Bison player in double figure scoring. The tough step-back jumper, he had a game-high 25 points, but the Bison shot just 25% in the second half. IUPUI pulled away. Darrell Combs, the 3 to put the Jaguars up 20, and the Bison upset in the opening round, 76-57, finishing the season 19-11. The first time in 5 years, NDSU has not advanced to the tournament championship game.
It's always tough to end your season like this. I think we always come in with an expectation to leave Sioux Falls with a championship. So we just got to get back to work, have a good offseason, and hopefully get back there next year.
The Bison finished the season 19-11, losing just twice on their home floor. Stay with us, more to come as we sit down with men's head coach David Richman to reflect on the past 6 months. That's next on the Bison Basketball Show.
The Bison Basketball Show on Midco Sports Network is presented by Nodak Mutual Insurance Company and Minn-Kota Windows.
Welcome back to the Bison Basketball Show. Head coach Dave Richman joining us here one final time this season. Dave, an early exit from the Summit League tournament. First time the program actually hasn't won a game in the tournament since 2012, which is a pretty remarkable run in the mid-major ranks. That's difficult to do. I know Kai's injury late in the week kind of hampered some things. It was kind of one of those nights in tournament play, wasn't it?
Yeah, certainly plenty of excuses to go around, and we're not a program that doesn't base anything on excuses. You know, we flat out didn't get it done. Give IUPUI a ton of credit. Encouraged. I thought we showed some signs this year with a young group, and to get to 19 wins, outright second place in the league. It's a good year, but also make no mistake, our expectations aren't for good. It's for great, and it's an important off season for us. But we're excited to keep this group moving forward.
11-5 in conference play, second place. You'd mentioned that 19 wins. One thing you talked about right after the game was over against IUPUI was learning how to pace a team. And I know you were concerned all season long that you were really young, especially in the back end of that roster a little bit. What did you learn about pacing a team going forward? Because maybe some guys, I don't want to say hit the wall, but certainly look like they maybe wore down a little bit.
You know, as a coach, you reflect on everything. You know, to me, as a Division I basketball coach, you're in charge of everything. You recruit the guys, you develop them, you put together a game plan, so it's my responsibility. So to me, everything falls back on me. And we made a conscious decision after, getting our tails kicked against UND at home, that if it didn't matter how we were going to execute, we had to go out there and fight. We had to go out there and compete, and we really went at it for a 6-week stretch. And I think that took some things out of us. That being said, I don't know if I'd go back and really change that, because we also went 9-2 in that stretch with the loss at Arkansas, with the loss on the back end of a tough road trip to Denver, where those games are going to be tough anyways. And again, I think there's maybe some minutes, some heavy minutes with some guys that got to him with some lack of development from some other guys. But again, reflecting, you're trying to figure out, it's one of those things that makes this profession great. You're searching for answers that you're probably never going to have, but I think that's what makes our staff good, is you're searching for those answers, trying to figure things out so we can be better going forward.
Road wins, I know that was a huge emphasis for you, and that was something that you focused a lot on. Road grit was kind of the hashtag you used. You even had that on your gear going on the road. 7 road wins this year compared to 4 last year, 4 in the league, and that's a tremendous step forward and something certainly a young team can build on moving forward next year.
No question. I think that's a toughness, that's a mentality, that's a mindset. And if you know anything about me and how I want to base this program, it's toughness and togetherness. And certainly that's a step. One of the things somebody said to me, early on in my career as I got going here was, if you can take care of business at home and split on the road, you're doing pretty good. And minus the USD home loss, we split on the road, and we put ourselves in a position, if we don't lose that game, to be 12-4 and to share for a conference title. So again, I thought we made some steps this year. That was a big step for us compared to 1-7, I believe we were last year in league on the road. But certainly also excited and encouraged to make even bigger steps next year.
I know as a coach you're always focused on the task at hand and what's next, but now the season's over, 1 win shy of a 5th 20-win season. That's pretty hard to do, especially at this level of basketball, to sustain that. How proud of you are about that, and do you have time to reflect on that a little bit at all and enjoy that?
I wish we could. I wish we would. Irv Iniger, who's been a great influence for me through this, he said, looking back, one thing he would have done better is enjoy the wins, and I certainly want to make sure, and we're doing that. The thing that I'm very proud of is this program, and I was part of it. When 2009, 2014, we really were built up for those years with experience, with juniors, with seniors. After that 2009 season, the next 3 seasons, we won 42 games. Okay, so then I look back and kind of in comparables, after the 2014 season, we went, and my first year as a head coach, we won 62 games. And so I think we've pushed, we've held them accountable. I think we're moving in the right steps. We just need to, in a sense, get older. We need to go through some experience. And I think as you look at our roster, we still only have 2 seniors next year, but we do have 3 or 4 juniors, and you're starting to get into that 5 or 6 upperclassmen, which I think is big in mid-major basketball.
I know, just real quickly, a chance now for some development for some of those younger players, the Dangus, the Dylan Millers, the Tyson Wards. They get a chance at another off season. That is one of those things that's exciting for the future, to see what the ceiling of those guys are going to be.
Yeah, we ask our guys on a daily basis to do their job and to trust the process. I think now it's my turn as the head coach to do my job and trust the process. And you could see so many special things from a talent and potential standpoint from especially guys like Tyson, guys like Dang. Now we just need to work our tails off in the offseason to develop them in the weight room, on the floor. And I think going through some experiences like both of those 2 did on the actual playing floor is going to be good for all of us going forward.
Dave, thanks for everything this year. It's been a real pleasure, and hey, we'll see you in the fall.
Hey, this has been a great, exciting first year with Midco, and we're excited to keep it going. Thanks, Brian.
All right, that's Dave Richman, the NDSU men's basketball coach. Well, one senior that left his mark at NDSU is Dexter Werner. We head into the Bison locker room and reflect on his career. That's coming up next. Welcome back to the Bison Basketball Show. The NDSU men's roster, 2 seniors this year, one of them from right here in North Dakota, Dexter Werner from Bismarck, kind enough to spend a few minutes with us here to wrap up the season. And Dexter, I know for you, it's been a great ride, but I also know that you're a competitive guy. You don't like to lose, and that's probably not how you want your season to end. But it's at the same token, I'm guessing you take the approach that, hey, the body of work that I did in my career here is still pretty impressive.
Yeah, obviously, that's not the way you want to end your season, especially senior year, but at the same time, you got to give those guys credit. IUPUI came out, they gave us a great game in the tournament, and they played better than us, but just like you said, just taking the approach of just kind of looking at, now looking back at my career as a whole, it's hard to not be satisfied with it.
I know it's amazing to think when you came in here, Dexter, I know the story's been made of this, is how's Dexter going to be able to contribute, where is he going to be contributing, and when is he going to be able to contribute? For what you've been able to do, even on the biggest stage, I go back and look even the Gonzaga game in the NCAA tournament your sophomore year, that's probably the moment that sticks out to me as maybe a Dexter memory for a lot of fans. What is it for you? Is there any moments that stand out for you?
I think just getting those back-to-back Summit League championships, that was a big feat for us to be able to repeat with a young team. And and to come off a win the year before that in the tournament. So those 2 games are obviously big memories for me, but at the same time, it's all the moments I had with my teammates, seeing guys growing up and just developing some best friends along the way too. I'm going to remember that just as much as the games.
The way you impacted the program, your energy level, some of those little things you do, I think that's what really made you kind of a fan favorite around here. That's something that I know energy, that's something that you control a little bit. And I bet you take a lot of pride in that, especially being a guy from North Dakota.
Yeah, I take a lot of pride playing in my home state. I've definitely enjoyed it. Just leaving it all out there on the court, playing as hard as you can every night. I've been able to do that and do it at a high level. So I've definitely, I've had a blast doing it.
I think we've talked about the ways you impacted the program. We don't always talk about the way the program impacts you. What do you take away from this for life lessons moving forward? I know you may have some aspirations to play at the next level, but beyond that, I know in the professional world you have some aspirations in that area as well.
I would definitely say just taking away just work ethic and commitment. Obviously, you got to put in the time to get the results, and the effort you put in is what you're going to get out. That's what my dad has told me since I was a little kid, and I've carried that through to NDSU. I've seen it come true here, and just if you put in the time and the effort and give it your best, you're going to get the results.
Well, I know for future plans, I know you want to look at playing at the next level, overseas potentially. I know there's some other things in the business world you might do. What are your future plans? What are your next steps here? Because I know you graduated with your undergrad in December.
Yep, currently in grad school right now, so I'll probably try to finish that online while I'm hopefully playing next year. Right now, just kind of going through the whole agent selection process and then go from there, find somewhere to play, and then after that, use my business degree, find something good in the business world, find something that I enjoy doing.
What message would you have for Bison fans that have been out to support you over the years, and who are the people that maybe influenced you most while you were here?
I would definitely just thank the fans, the community. It's been a great run, seeing all the support that it's continued to grow as I've been here. It's gotten better every year. I hope to see it continue to grow with this great new building, see that happen, as well as just say thank you to the coaches, my teammates. I've had a blast, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
All right, Dexter, thanks so much. It's been a fun ride with you, and wish you the best luck in the future.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, stay with us. More to come. The Bison women earning the 7th seed in the Summit League tournament. They took on IUPUI in the opening round. We'll have those highlights and check in with Martin Walseth after this timeout. Welcome back to the Bison Basketball Show. After missing the conference tournament last year, Martin Walseth and company earned the 7th seed in this year's tourney, taking on IUPUI, the 2 seed, in the opening round on Saturday afternoon. The Bison were swept by IUPUI in the regular season, and after falling behind 10-0 early, would rally back. Kennedy Childers knocks down the 3. She had 10 of her team-high 15 points in the first half. Later, Emily Spear gets the turnaround jumper off the glass, all a part of an 8-0 run. Late in the first quarter, Anna Goodhope driving and finding Brianna Jones underneath the basket for the lay-in. The senior had 10 points. It was 16-12 after 1. In the second quarter, with the shot clock winding down, Goodhope hits the tough triple from the corner to pull NDSU within 8. But the Jaguars a spurt to stretch the lead. Danielle Lawrence driving it all the way late in the half for 2 of her game-high 23. IUPUI up 14 at the break. The Bison able to keep it within striking distance. Riley Jacobson inside. The left-hand layup for the basket and the foul. NDSU outscoring IUPUI in the third quarter 14-12. Taylor Thunstead held scoreless until the fourth quarter when she hits the tough shot falling to the floor. Jacobson would pull up and hit another jumper midway through the fourth quarter. She added 10 points off the bench, but IUPUI would hold off the Her Jenna Guns 3 with 3.5 minutes left, would put the game away. The Jaguars 19 of 21 from the line to win it, 69-56, ending NDSU's season and the career for 3 Bison seniors.
We're all a family in the end, no matter if we win or lose, but just making all these new friends with all the freshmen all the way up to the senior, me and Emily and Bree, so just something we'll carry on forever.
It's been tough, physically, mentally, it's been tough, but I would not have been able to do it without my fellow seniors and teammates. There's a lot of love on this team and in the game of basketball, and I think that's one of the main things.
Basketball's taught me so much. I can't thank God enough for putting this game into my life. I can't even imagine life without basketball. I just take away so many, it just made me the woman I am today. I learned discipline, I learned work ethic, I learned so many things that I don't think that I would have learned if I wouldn't have had a basketball in my hands.
We now welcome in Maren Walseth to talk about the Bison women's tournament play. I know, Maren, for 70% of your roster and 50% of your coaching staff, first ever Summit League tournament, but I didn't get a sense there was any tightness with your group. I thought you guys came out and played hard, and maybe your best 40 minutes since January.
I would agree, and we kind of chuckled that there were 5 of us in the locker room that had been in that situation. And so because of that youthfulness and that inexperience, I was very pleased with the effort that the young ladies put out for that first game.
A step forward this season, twice as many conference wins. Overall, I think, what do you take away from this season as you build towards the future?
A couple things I take away. First, being back in the Summit League tournament, that was something that we set our sights on, and we were able to accomplish that. And then also the experience that 1 through 6, as far as the freshmen are concerned, gained this year. And different people during different parts of the season with different strengths, but certainly every single one of those freshmen gained experience and grew.
I know off-season development is one of those things now that you finally get these 6 true freshmen to get into the weight room, to get into the program a little bit. Really a big off-season, I think, for them, because physically this group may have gotten taxed, especially in the last half of the season, huh?
They have, and those freshmen haven't been in our program for a full 12 months yet. So the weight room is still a new and learning and growing experience for them. So this off season, especially this spring, right now, will be very, very important. And I know they're eager. We've had our end of the season meetings. They're eager to get back in the gym and work and whatnot. So we're really excited. Probably
a group that's going to look differently a little bit next year physically too, after they have another year to mature. As a coach, I know you're always learning as well. It's the end of your 3rd season. Maybe patience, the biggest virtue. I know there were times something would happen and you would just kind of look at the ground and then look up and say, okay, time to reset, play the next possession. How did this season change you with such a young group?
I think, the patience is certainly one thing, and that comes from young players and that comes from experienced players as well. But also seeing the small victories and celebrating those small victories and seeing things through a young player's eyes as opposed to always a coach's eyes who wants perfection all the time. But seeing the excitement when a young player can execute a play that they couldn't before, or the consistency in their shot, comes along. Being able to see things through their eyes was exciting.
You focused heavily in this last recruiting cycle on getting longer and more athletic. I think you addressed a lot of that. How excited are you to get those players in this summer and put them to work, because they're going to be asked probably to play pretty significant minutes right away as well, at least some of them?
Right. This freshman class was heavy in the guards, and this incoming freshman class will be heavier in the post play. And so I'm really excited about the combination that we're having, as well as the returning upperclassmen with Taylor and Megan and Kennedy as well, bringing some leadership and then really blending a much larger group together.
I know for you, what are you most excited about getting into this offseason? I know a coach's work is never done, so kind of what is your big major focus now over the next several months?
There's a lot going on there. There's continuing recruiting. There's encouraging and inspiring in the weight room for these young players, but I think collectively the urgency and the moxie and the beast mode, so to speak, for some of them, they're not going to be surprises next year. They're going to be marked women. They're going to be guarded women, and so the ability to really have that beast mode and have that aggressive mentality, the full 40, is what we're looking for.
Well, Maren, thank you for everything this season, and we will see you again next fall.
Thank you very much. This has been great. I appreciate it, Brian.
All right, perfect. Maren Walseth joining us here on the Bison Basketball Show. Stay with us. We will wrap things up coming up next and take a look at some of our favorite moments.
The Bison Basketball Show on Midco Sports Network is presented by Nodak Mutual Insurance Company and Midco Windows.
That's a wrap on this season's Bison Basketball Show. Special thanks to coaches Dave Richman and Maren Walseth, all the student athletes, sports information directors Ryan Anderson and Wes Offerman, and all of you for tuning in all season long. We leave you now with some of our favorite moments from this past season. We'll see you next fall on Midco Sports Network.
Miller driving all the way inside. Oh, Miller! Wow!